All right, everyone. One of the things I want to do this year in 2026 is I want to create a monthly video and go over some things that I have purchased through Eco Fishing Shop, but continue to use, 4 or 5 years later in regards to kayak fishing, specifically for tournaments here local to the Carolinas. And obviously it would be an oversight on my part if we didn't discuss probably the most controversial thing out there, which is the live scope. Obviously we'll get into what graphs and what live scope and all that. One of the most important things that I've purchased through Eco Fishing Shop is the Railblaza HEXX Live Scope pole. And I'm going to show you how I'm still rigging up the XTR130 to get ready for 2026. I'm going to start with this pole. I may switch it up to the Sniper Marine pole. I haven't fully committed to that yet. I've seen some things on the portal that you might need a special mount. I haven't researched it enough to make that purchase yet, but in the works. But in the meantime, I'm going to be using this Railblaza pole. Like I said, it's the HEXX version, and I'm just going to kind of show you the ins and outs of it. One of the key things that I had to do, give me a second, I'll grab it. All right, so one of the key things I had to do is I had to get these different cap bolts. They just got a hex head in there, but they're a lot shorter. I want to say they're 1/2 inch. The ones that came with the system for most of the track systems, they're too long and you can't tighten it down. I want this to be pretty tight. So if you drop a comment in the comments below and ask me, I can go back. I'm pretty sure I got these on Amazon. I can go back through my orders and figure out the exact link for these if you need them. But this is probably the only thing that you have to really modify on this pole. And like I said, this is just the bolt that goes in from the top here, from the base down through there, and then you just put one of the T flanges, if you will, on there. But like I said, the bolts that came with it were a little too long. So that's really the only upgrade. And then looking at everything, so the way this system works is you have this mounting base here. Once you have that mounted where it goes, then you have the actual pole mount. And I'll show you how this works in a minute. But this just kind of sits on that base, just like that. It's got these locking levers, if you will. And now you can see that thing is stout. It's not going anywhere. It's just a nice little system. And then when you get off the water, you can do it one of two ways. You can take the pole out like this. That's how I do it 90% of the time. Or you can, my buddy Slowboat Fishing does it this way, just so he doesn't mess with his settings. He just takes this whole thing off, just like that. So it's simple enough. It's just really whatever your preference is. But that's just a great option that you have there. What turned me on to this actually was Slowboat himself, Slowboat Fishing, my buddy Mark. We had a Hobie event here on Lake Norman. Not last year, it was the year before, spring of the year before, and he had won one. And we got to look at it, and I'm like, man, that's exactly what I need. I had been using a different live scope pole, and so I ended up ordering one through Eco Fishing Shop, and it's been fantastic. Like I said, I do think I'm going to upgrade this year just because of the swing radius that you need for this pole. I really like that Sniper Marine where you can just literally rotate the handle and turn your transducer. But that's where we are with this. So then once you have this set up, and none of this stuff is wired right now, so it'll be fairly easy. Once you have this stuff set up, then you can see all you do is pull this lever up here, drop that in there, and then pull your handle up. Now, one thing that Mark did that I have a lot of interest in, so I had cut this down specifically for my PWR, but with this XTR, if I keep it mounted here and continue to use the system, Mark had went to Lowe's and got a couple couplers, PVC couplers, and he was able to stack those in here to take up this gap, because otherwise this is going to loosen up over time and go back down, which would put it deeper in the water. But I don't like it that deep. I just want it to be clear of the bottom of the kayak. That way, if I'm in shallow water, it's not dragging all day. So, but that's another update there, if you will, is get you a couple PVC couplers and just put on there. It allows it to swivel and stuff like that. It just doesn't allow the up and down motion. Had to change clothes. No, not really. I just forgot to show you something. Probably the most important thing on this HEXX pole mount is once this is in here, you're doing your scoping and stuff like that. It does have capabilities of rotating. That's one of the best features about it. So you can rotate it either direction and just get it up out of the water, fold your hand down like that. You can commute without it dragging in the water, getting back to the dock, wherever. So that's a nice feature. I didn't want to leave that off of there, but again, great system. And like I said, it's been good to me, but I just wanted to share that. But other than that, you can see where I have my seat here. It's very easy to turn. You can cut it down, like you said. Cut this down shorter if you want to. But this has been a great addition to my live scope setup, and it's got many tournaments on it. You know, I think I've had it now for 2 full years. It's going into my 3rd year, and like I said, we may run with it, we may not, but until then, this is what we're going with. And just on this particular kayak, I can see I'm gonna cut down this sidearm here another. I could probably cut that down at least another inch, get it a little bit closer to the side of the kayak. One of the negatives that I have on it is the resistance in the water. I mean, it constantly moves with these motors, and I don't know that it necessarily makes a huge difference when you're scoping fish, but definitely a kind of a pet peeve of mine. I like things to be tight. I'm one of those guys that you crank down a ratchet strap and you flick it to make sure, and then you say, that ain't going anywhere.
That ain't going anywhere.
So this bothers me a little bit, but kind of is what it is. But other than that, that is the Railblaza HEXX Live Scope Pole. That's how I mount it. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop the questions in the comments. I'll provide the link to Eco Fishing Shop where you can purchase yours. This is just a great affordable option. It's good essentially for any kayak that's got you know, the rail system. So if you have any questions, like I said, drop it in the comments, and yeah, get to fishing. We'll see you out on the water.